Imagine the most elaborately engineered metropolis of the ancient world. Now, imagine half of it resting at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. Just off the coast of modern Israel lies an underwater graveyard, a sprawling, heavily fortified city completely swallowed by the ocean. The mastermind behind it was King Herod the Great. History often remembers him from the brutal biblical story of the massacre of the innocents. But beneath his bloodthirsty reputation, he was an obsessive, prolific architect. In 31 BCE, Herod backed Mark Antony in the Roman Civil War. When Antony was crushed by Caesar Augustus, Herod found himself on the wrong side of history. To keep his throne and his head, he needed to offer an overwhelming display of loyalty to the victorious new emperor. He proposed constructing a Roman metropolis from scratch, naming it Caesarea Maritima in honor of Augustus. But to truly prove his worth, he decided to build a massive, deep-water port on a stretch of coastline where no natural bay or shelter existed. Herod's engineers essentially forced a harbor into existence. They carved a colossal crater down to the bedrock, large enough to hold hundreds of jumbo jets, and sank massive rings of wood and hydraulic concrete to construct the breakwaters. By creating the only deep-water harbor between Egypt and Turkey, Herod forced the massive Roman grain fleets and spice traders to dock at his piers. This allowed him to tax every ounce of cargo entering the region, providing the steady flow of gold necessary to maintain his standing with the emperor and secure his throne. This image captures the massive scale of the ancient hippodrome, an arena for chariot races, which still sits among the ruins. Herod outfitted his new capital with Roman amenities like the sprawling track, a massive theater, and highly advanced underground plumbing. But look closely at this top-down view of the surviving stone foundations. The dry land meets the turquoise water abruptly, creating a harsh, unnatural coastline. Today, the physical ruins of Herod's masterpiece appear violently out of proportion. Take the city's ancient ship sheds. These structures were specifically built to house Roman vessels, keeping them dry and safe from destructive marine pests when they weren't actively at sea. Yet those massive sheds now sit at the top of a short, remarkably steep beach. For an ancient crew to haul a heavy, 30-foot wooden ship out of the water and drag it up that severe incline is physically impossible. Herod's engineers did not make calculation errors of this magnitude. To understand why these structures are so out of place, we have to look deeper into the geological history of the coastline itself. This heavy stone structure is an ancient well, hidden deep within the city's surviving ruins. When marine geoarchaeologist Beverly Goodman descended 30 feet down its dark shaft, she found an anomaly. Near the bottom, an entire section of the heavy stone masonry had cleanly separated. It had dropped horizontally by 3 full inches, leaving a distinct gap ringing the inner wall of the shaft. Stones of this weight do not gracefully settle in such a uniform way over time. The clean fracture indicates the masonry was violently shunted downwards by a massive external force. To find the missing pieces of the city, researchers moved offshore. They dove 300 feet past the modern beach, descending into the murky Mediterranean. As seen here, the divers found unmistakably man-made architecture resting deep on the seabed. They measured massive carved stone pillars and foundation blocks that firmly belong on dry land. The original city of Caesarea was twice as large as the ruins on the shore suggest. This underwater graveyard was once dry land, meaning the sea didn't just rise, it pushed the coastline back by hundreds of feet in an instant. The impossible placement of the ship sheds, the fractured masonry buried in the well, and the drowned stone columns all perfectly align. They are the physical scars of a single devastating event. On December 13, 1150 CE, a mega-tsunami struck the eastern Mediterranean, driving a towering wall of water directly into the Caesarean coast. The sheer kinetic force of the ocean crushed the bedrock. It sheared the subterranean wells in half and ripped away vast tracts of the limestone shore. When the water finally receded, it dragged half of Herod's capital straight into the abyss. We see biological proof baked into this cross-section of the ruins. Christians later built a church over Herod's temples, using mortar packed with deep ocean seashells. They were dredged from the seafloor and violently deposited onto the inland rubble by the surging tsunami. King Herod designed Caesarea to be his ultimate triumph. He deployed the most advanced Roman engineering of his era to force his will onto the land and sea, constructing an indestructible monument to his own political survival. But the very ocean he forced into submission ultimately reclaimed the land. Today, Herod's greatest achievement sits fractured and drowned, a quiet reminder that human ambition is no match for the raw power of nature. If you found this investigation into the ancient past fascinating, please like this video and subscribe to Echoes of Time. Leave a comment below. Do you think Herod's brutal ambition doomed his legacy, or is he an architectural genius lost to history? Until next time, keep exploring the echoes of our past.